So you want to start off with a liquid soap. Any brand will do, but as long as it's antibacterial, it will do the job. So you just want to get a little bit of it in your hand and get some warm water running. Don't want it too hot, just warm enough so that it loosens all the product in the brush. And like I'm showing you here, you just need to run all the bristles through the soap and create a lather, and then rinse it through the water and swirl it around. This you just want to repeat over and over again so that the water runs clear. So this may take a few repetitions of lather, rinse, repeat until the water is completely clean when you rinse it. And once that looks pretty good to your eye, then just give it a little wipe on the towel like so, and then leave it down to dry. For brushes that you've been using for cream type products like liquid foundation, it will take a few more repetitions to get all the product out. This one, for example, took me about 8 washes, I think, to fully get all the product out. So just be aware that it will take time, but just be patient. Keep swirling it around in the soap and rinsing it through, and it will all come out eventually. You also want to make sure that when you leave it to dry on the towel, that you actually have the bristle end facing downwards. This is so that no water runs up into the farrow of the brush, because this may cause all the bristles to come loose, and you don't want that at all. Also keep in mind that the longer you leave your brushes between washes, it will be harder to get the product out. It's much better to stick to a weekly or maybe a fortnightly clean, and that way it'll be a lot easier to get the product out. You'll notice that with these eye brushes, I'm just focusing it on my fingers. I just found that the grooves on my fingers are a bit better for cleaning the eye brushes than my palm. I use the face brushes on my palm to really give them a good wash, but with the eye brushes I just stick to my fingers. And I also make sure that as I'm drying them off that I will shape them a little bit on that little towel before I leave them to dry. So again, with this little brush, you can see I'm just keeping it on my fingertips. And because these brushes I only use powders with, they're actually a lot faster and easier to clean, and they get a good lather really quickly. You may also have noticed that soap suddenly appears on my left hand out of nowhere. It's just because I actually have a full soap pump on the left side of my basin, which is full of that antibacterial soap. So just between brushes I've just been pumping it onto there and doing each brush. It's just a lot easier than using that massive bottle every single time. I don't tend to go too crazy with shaping my brushes as I'm drying them, because they all tend to keep their shape pretty well, as you can see over on the right. But this brush in particular is the only brush of mine that I found that it will not set properly unless I put a little shaper over it. So you'll see in a moment I actually get this plastic little shaper there, and I put that over it as it dries so that it keeps its angled shape. Otherwise it ends up fraying all over the place, and then applying makeup's actually really difficult. So I just drip off the excess water and leave it to dry with the other ones. Now with this type of brush, where I'm using a lot of eyeliner and really thick gel products, I will run it under the warm water for a little while to loosen all the products, just because it is quite sticky and thick, and then I'll lather up with the soap. But anything that gets stuck around the farrow, I will just run under the water and maybe scrape off with my fingers as it melts. Beauty blenders can be a little trickier to clean. I find that it's just about using a variety of different motions. So like here I'm just squeezing it a lot, squeezing all the soap through it. but then I'll rub the ends as well, kind of massaging the soap through. And it's just a repetition of massaging like I'm doing here and just squeezing it and running it through the warm water, and just with enough repetitions all the product will come out. It just takes a lot longer. And that's all there is to it really. I hope you found that helpful. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up and I'll see you next time. Bye!